Good afternoon, students, and welcome to a mathematics lesson that is both math, converting units of measurement, and a little chat about the idea of American exceptionalism, which is a very lofty historical term. Let me explain. We're going to be converting both within the U.S. customary system, within the metric system, and between the two. Now, a little history / geopolitical lesson. The U.S. customary system is only used, really, meaning in the industrialized world, in the U.S. That's why it's called the U.S. customary system. So only us, only we use it, us, get it? The metric system is used elsewhere around the world, okay? Now, what we're going to talk about today is the idea of unit rates or unit conversion factors. So unit rate or conversion factors. And what we'll do is we'll use these to solve problems. Example of a conversion factor, really quickly, would be something like it's one of something, so 1 mile, okay, equals 1.6 kilometers. There's a unit rate or conversion factor. One of something equaling an amount of something else. Really, in this case, we should change this to approximately, which means about. Okay, another example of a unit rate could be 1 foot. Okay, U.S. customary measurement. This is conversion within a system. The other one is a conversion between. 1 foot is equal to, or the exact same, as 3 yards. Again, the idea here is that one of something, one unit of something, equals out to an amount of something else. That's what a unit rate or conversion factor is. You need to know those. There are several resources you can use in order to find those or use, but you have to know those in order to convert between units. You don't have to memorize them, you just have to know. Okay, so let's try one here. Let's go over here. 10,000 feet approximately equal to how many miles? Okay, well, first of all, you need to know the conversion factor. So you need to find the conversion factor or the unit rate that compares one unit of what you know to the unknown amount. Okay? So really, to kind of word this differently, it's one unit that's the easiest way to do this. Feet are smaller than miles. We know that. We know that because we're Americans and we use this system. So when you find the conversion factor, or you maybe know the conversion factor, you'll help to know which one's bigger. I know that 10,000 feet is going to be bigger than the answer of how many miles this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the conversion. I actually know this one. It is 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Okay, that's what I'm going to use. Now, what I'm going to do then is once I know this, I'm either going to multiply or divide the known amount by the conversion factor. We know 10,000 feet. Okay, if I'm trying to find feet to miles, I'm going to need to divide this. So what I'm going to do is actually going to do 10,000 divided by 5,280. Let's use the old trusty calculator, shall we? I know it's going to be less than 2 is what I was going to say, sorry. And I finished it up. It's going to be approximately 1.9 miles. Approximately means about. It's not exact, it's a rounded number, and that's all we need. So 1.9, we could even say approximately 2. Feet aren't that big, so really it's about 2 miles. Okay, there is a conversion factor. All right. Now, one thing as I erase this, you always want to check for reasonableness. You want to ask yourself, do I need to do any other extra steps? Sometimes you'll have double conversions. Okay. You also would want to check, was my number bigger than 10,000? That would not have made sense because feet are smaller than miles. Okay. Another example, this will be a doozy, a double conversion. Okay, so we've got What if I have 360 millimeters per hour? This is obviously something in speed. It's not very fast because we're talking about millimeters in an hour. Millimeters are the smallest unit of measurement of distance in the metric system. And then what we want to know is how many millimeters per second. So in this case, actually, we have a single conversion. So we can do this really quickly. As a matter of fact, millimeters to millimeters, we're just doing to seconds. So you have to ask yourself, am I converting between that unit or am I converting between the one below? Well, in this case, we're actually converting the US customary unit because we're converting hours to seconds. So if I have 360 millimeters per hour, I know this, 1 hour equals 60 seconds. That's what I need to know. So what I'm actually just going to do is, if there's 360 in an hour, I can divide that by 60 seconds. And I think, a lot of you might know this. That would be 6. Okay? So the answer here is 6 millimeters per second. Again, check your reasonableness. Does that make sense? Are you going to have less millimeters coming out, or less millimeters run or crawled maybe by a snail per second? That's probably too fast for a snail. Than you would for an hour? Sure. You'd have less. Absolutely. So the answer makes sense, and you've used a conversion factor. So you've really done two things. You've used a conversion factor, and you made sense. Again, unit rate, conversion factor, important. You have to know them. I have given you a reference sheet for you to know them and use that reference sheet when we're doing these. Otherwise, you will be lost. Okay? Another one. Let's do this. What if I have something traveling 32 feet per minute? That's, I don't know, decently fast. And we want to know how many feet per second this is. Okay? Man, it would be much cooler if we would do something like, this could be inches per second, then you have to do a double. In this case, it is just a single conversion. My key factor, notice how I have to write this each time, is 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Meaning you need to write out the conversion factor you're using, okay? In this case, I am going to, so I know 32 feet in a minute. 1 minute is 60 seconds. So this number divided by 60 is going to give me the amount of feet per second. So 32, notice sometimes you divide, sometimes you multiply. You need to know which one's bigger and what kind of number you're going to get. I'm going to get less feet per second than I have per minute. So I need to divide, I need to do an operation that's going to make it smaller. Okay, and in this case, if we're doing approximately, that is about 0.5 feet per second. So about a half a foot per second is the time or the speed in this case that I would get. So to kind of wrap this up, this is a simple lesson on conversion. Sorry, I'm moving this around a little bit, solo here today. What the important thing is to know and to check is your reasonableness and knowledge of conversions. I want you guys to start seeing, like, what are the big ones? Which ones are customary? Which ones are metric? You kind of have to know that. You will be converting between them and within them in the rest of the unit. Thanks.